team that's first, fair, everywhere. This is Wink News This Morning.
All right, 10 a.m. Southwest Florida, and yesterday we kind of had a roller coaster of emotions, of a lot of weather going on. Today things are looking pretty stable. I'm Belinda Post.
And I'm Rachel Coxrose, and yeah, the sun is coming out. We want to show that to you, so let's head over to Wink News Weather Authority meteorologist Lauren Kreidler. Lauren, that is a happy sight.
Look at that. Blue skies, plenty of sunshine overlooking Estero. A beautiful start to the morning with even cooler temperatures. So drier air has filtered in, and look at Wink Live Doppler 3X radar. Not tracking any rain this morning, not expecting to throughout the day either. So a nice dry day with those temperatures hanging out in the upper 50s to mid 60s. 65 right now in Fort Myers, 67 Everglades City, a little bit cooler for Glades and Highlands County, sitting in at 58 degrees. 63 for Port Charlotte, but by this afternoon, these high temperatures going to be a beautiful day. Low 70s for those highs, 72 for Fort Myers, 73 Marco Island and Naples, 71 for Highlands County. Sun and clouds throughout the day, less humid. Those winds not as windy as it was yesterday at this time. So northwest winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. But coming up, I'll let you know when we have a chance of seeing rain in that forecast later on this week.
All right, Lauren. Breaking news, the U.S. Marshal Service has joined the search for wanted fugitive Fidel Fletcher. He's wanted for the December 27th stabbing death of his wife, Nicole Gates. It happened on Selene Avenue in Charlotte County. Fletcher may be riding a black BMX-style bicycle and has ties to DeSoto County, specifically the Arcadia area. The reward for information leading to his arrest is now up to $8,000. If you know where he is, call 911. He is considered armed and dangerous, so do not approach him.
This morning, we're working for more information about a crash that snarled traffic and led to injuries. Here's that scene over on Lee Boulevard near State Road 82. Fort Myers police say it was a single car crash. They didn't say how many people were in the vehicle. You can see the car was partially wrapped around a tree with its roof gone. Now, it's not clear if that was from the rescue crews who were on scene or from the crash itself.
And a driver is on the run after a deadly crash shutting down US 41 near Judd Road in North Fort Myers, just south of Pine Island Road. FHP says a car and a bicyclist crashed into each other. Then a second car hit the bicycle and took off. Right now, we're working to get a description of the vehicle that drove off.
Now go ahead and watch the video behind me closely. You see that? A car flies by and it happens so fast we had to slow down the video just so you can catch it. Troopers shared that dash cam video. They say Rigo Giovanni Jr. Mendez was driving under the influence going more than 125 miles an hour. This was on 41. Now, he was trying to sneak past troopers. They say Mendez turned off his headlights, but that didn't work. They caught up to him and arrested him. This is his third DUI arrest.
Hotel staff walk into a room to clean to find a man and woman dead and covered in blood. The apparent murder-suicide happened at the Fairfield Inn and Suites in East Naples near Collier Boulevard and I-75. As of this morning, their official cause of death and identities have not been released.
A nurse is in jail this morning after being accused of racking up thousands of dollars on her senior patients' credit cards. Deputies say 30-year-old Michelle DeMel is suspected of taking her 81-year-old patient's credit card, going on a shopping spree at Walmart and Target. In total, DeMel is accused of stealing more than $3,700 from patients. She faces multiple felony charges for these crimes.
Today marks 15 years since this little boy was last seen. 6-year-old Aji Desir was playing outside his grandmother's house in Immokalee when he either wandered off or was kidnapped. Most of us weren't here at the time, but our executive producer was. She said where Desir lived was mostly a Haitian community, and they held vigils for days, hoping he'd return.
And though that hope was there, he never did return home, and she was telling us this morning how ripped apart the community was. Wink News reporter Asha Patel spoke to the detective on this case.
That's exactly what the detective told me when I sat down and spoke with him. I asked him, do you and your team ever feel that you won't find Aji Desir and just give up? He said no. He feels that there is still hope out there. Now let's take a look at this community. This is where Aji Desir disappeared 15 years ago. At the time, he was 6 years old, and he was last seen back in 2009. In October, he would have turned 21. This is a photo of Aji Desir. His face was on the cover of People magazine, billboards, and on a flyer sent to 75 million homes across the nation. Collier County Sheriff's Office said they received many leads, even one of a boy found in Midland, Texas last year that they thought could have been Aji. They investigated them all, and they all had negative results. As soon as Aji disappeared back in 2009, all hands were on deck trying to find the little boy. More than 1,300 law enforcement agencies throughout Florida teamed up and did an extensive air, ground, and water search for him. We spoke to Aji's mother in the past, and she doesn't think he ever wandered off.
For him, only somebody took Aji. I don't Aji, nothing past Aji. Somebody only took him.
This was a massive 7-day plus operation that entailed a daily personnel of anywhere between 150 and 180 officers or deputies and volunteers at any given day.
Again, the latest lead in this case was the one we received last year of the boy found in Midland, Texas that people thought was Aji. And I remember reporting on that standing right here last year, but that wasn't Aji. If you guys have any information where Aji could be, you're asked to call law enforcement. In Collier County, Ash Patel, Wink News.
The battle for the GOP nomination in Iowa is in the final stages. Governor Ron DeSantis took the stage in a town hall selling his record in Florida as the reason you should choose him to be the Republican nominee for president. Now, when it comes to the upcoming Iowa caucuses and today's debate between Governor DeSantis and Nikki Haley, DeSantis believes he will beat Haley in the polls using past electoral results to prove it.
And she was running for re-election as governor in one of the reddest states in the country, and she underperformed almost every Republican on the ballot, people like Tim Scott significantly so. So she's been on the ballot, even in a deep red state like South Carolina, major underperformance. I won re-election in Florida by significantly more than she did in South Carolina, and Florida had always been considered a swing state until we did it.
Wink News is Campaign Central, and we are on our way right now to Iowa for today's debate with Governor DeSantis and Nikki Haley. Next Monday's Iowa caucuses will also be covered. Wink News reporter Claire Gall will be speaking to voters who often set the tone, and we have live coverage starting today. Then anchor Chris Safadi joins her Friday. We have live reports leading up to the caucuses through the week.
And back here in the Sunshine State, in his annual State of the State address, Governor Ron DeSantis said Florida is strong and growing. But polls suggest the state of his presidential campaign is anything but strong.
Wink News investigative reporter Celine MacArthur was in Tallahassee, where the governor's message to Floridians was the same as on the campaign trail: stick to the plan.
Governor DeSantis returned to the state capitol from Iowa to challenge lawmakers to build upon their accomplishments from 2023.
2024 is going to be a banner year for the free state of Florida.
The governor opened his State of the State with a simple thank you to lawmakers for working with him to make Florida the envy of the nation, that the Great Migration is for good reason. States like California and New York and Illinois are driving people away.
These failures are not the result of chance. They are the result of choices made by elected officials to put ideology over sound policy. In this time for choosing, the state of Florida has chosen well. Our choices have produced results that are second to none in this country.
Ron DeSantis was quick to declare Florida #1 for business, crime, education, parental rights, and small but efficient government.
In New York City, there's a famous debt clock that shows the national debt going up in real time. I'd like to see one of those made for Florida's debt. Only a Florida debt clock would be counting down, not up, because we have paid down nearly 25% of our state's debt over the past 4 years. Imagine that.
But in Democratic response, State Senator Lauren Book and State Representative Fentress Driscoll called out the governor for what he glazed over or didn't mention at all: Florida's cost of living and property insurance crisis.
Our state cannot remain strong and grow if so many families are struggling just to find and keep a place to call home. There's not enough good housing for people, so home and rental prices are unaffordable.
We were elected to do the people's work, and yours is the interest we proudly serve. But the urgency is paramount. Floridians are not merely asking but begging for help.
Democrats also accused DeSantis of being out of touch with Floridians because he's spending so much time running for president. Now, DeSantis did not mention his campaign during today's speech, and when it was over, he bolted. He did not provide us any opportunity to ask him any questions. He did offer an update on the storm from the nearby Emergency Operations Center before heading back to Iowa for the caucuses on Monday. In Tallahassee, I'm your investigative reporter, Celine MacArthur, Wink News.
Your ability to vote by mail could face new restrictions because of a new bill in Tallahassee. Senate Republicans want to limit mail-in voting to people who are ill, disabled, stationed in the military overseas, or absent from their home counties. It would also restrict where you drop off vote by mail ballots. Opponents say this is about suppressing the vote, not securing it.
Well, it's Wednesday morning, which means for a lot of us, we're halfway through the work week. So here's a big question for you. What do you truly hope for in your work day?
Next, some of those things that you can ask for and actually get, and what employers want in return.
Good morning, Southwest Florida. We are taking a live look over Buckhead Ridge, where we are seeing that mix of sun and clouds that will continue throughout the day. So overall, a very nice start to our Wednesday. Our muggy meter showing that dew point is sitting in the low 50s, putting us in the pleasant category. So when you're stepping outside, you're not feeling that humidity. In fact, that area we saw yesterday, that system brought cooler, drier air, and we can definitely feel it as far as the temperatures as well. 65 right now in Fort Myers, 67 Everglades City and Marco Island. Still in the upper 50s for our friends in Highlands and Glades counties, 64 Babcock Ranch and 66 in Cape Coral. Good morning to you. By this afternoon, we will continue to warm up, but top out in the low 70s for our highs with that mix of sun and clouds continuing throughout the day. And then quickly after sunset, those temperatures dropping back down into the 60s and then waking up tomorrow to even cooler temperatures than this morning. We're talking the 50s, so keep that in mind as you make your plans tomorrow morning. Wednesday, today, 72 degrees as that high, mix of sun and clouds, less humid. You are noticing that as soon as you walk outside, and we are going to see that less humid, drier air stay over us today. And then tomorrow, rain chances, they come back into play ever so slightly. We're talking isolated rain, clouds and sun, so more clouds and sun come tomorrow with those low temperatures in the morning, talking low 50s. By Friday, a few showers possible and those winds starting to pick up. Look at that high temperature, though, for Friday. 81 degrees. We're reaching the 80s again, but then that's really the only day we'll see those temperatures reach the 80s. Your weekend plans, Saturday we could expect to see some scattered storms, though the models have it pushing into the early morning hours. We're talking before sunrise, so if you do have any Saturday plans, just something to keep in mind as we tweak that timing. But right now, timing has those in the early morning hours. And then that cooler air stays with us. Low 70s for both Saturday and Sunday, but warming up by Monday with just a few showers possible. Scattered storms coming back into play on Tuesday, but our temperatures from there stay in the upper 60s to low 70s for the rest of the days.
From the Great Resignation to the Great Stay, the job market is constantly changing.
Wink News consumer reporter Andriana Shepard explains how technology, the economy, and social changes will impact you and your job this year.
What do people really want from their jobs?
They want to feel like they have a voice at work.
One of the largest studies found workers are looking for job security, work-life balance, increased pay, and a sense of belonging. So what will be expected from employers and employees in 2024?
I think self-satisfaction at the end of the day.
80% of hiring experts predict 2024 will be the first year of the big stay, meaning workers will remain in their current jobs for extended periods of time. According to the My Perfect Resume website, companies will begin discussing 4-day work weeks, mental health days, and pay raises. On the flip side, AI will be integrated into every industry, so you'll need to learn new technology.
A sense of accomplishment, achievement, responsibility, and the ability to grow. Of course, money.
Upskilling and reskilling will become more important than ever. Upskilling refers to learning new skills that complement your expertise, whereas reskilling is learning entirely new skills that help you switch to different roles or industries. LinkedIn reports telemedicine and wearable health monitor devices are creating new emerging jobs in healthcare.
Remote work will continue to rise, but employees will have to get better at self-discipline and time management. And of course, put extra work into those work relationships. Andriana Shepard, Wink News.
Upskilling and reskilling can be challenging, but we have a list of websites that can help you get started on winknews.com.
If you want guaranteed bus access, no more choosing whatever school you want for middle school students. At the school board meeting last night, the board approved a plan that limits school choice and moves to more traditional neighborhood schools. This comes as the district deals with a severe bus driver shortage and chronic transportation issues. This is the draft of that proximity plan. It breaks the district into 9 zones. If you choose a school outside the zone, you'll have to provide transportation for your child yourself.
In a night out, drinking with friends, the last thing anybody should have to worry about is someone spiking your drink. A new California law requires bars and nightclubs that don't serve food to have a drink test kit available for customers who may want one. Businesses will also be required to post a notice that the test kits are available. Lawmakers say the testing kits will help quickly discover the most undetectable drugs.
GHB and ketamine, which are the most commonly, drugs used in roofing, there's no taste, there's no scent, there's no color to them. They're really tough to detect, but very fortunately, they're easy to test.
A spokesperson for the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control says they're still working to figure out exactly how this law would be implemented when it goes into effect July 1st.
For the first time, the head of Boeing is speaking out after one of their planes lost a huge panel mid-flight. During a staff meeting Tuesday, the CEO of Boeing acknowledged a mistake by the company. That admission is supposedly in reference to the production of the 737 MAX 9 planes. Boeing believes the company made a mistake during the plane's manufacture and cited a problem with the supply chain. Last Friday, the Alaska flight carrying 177 people made an emergency landing shortly after takeoff when part of the plane's fuselage broke loose, leaving a gaping hole in the side of the plane. The FAA has grounded most Boeing 737 MAX 9 planes while the company investigates the cause of this incident.
Finishing what you started. That's the mindset of 2 Southwest Florida athletes. Coming up, how loyalty is put above all else.
We're taking a live look over San Carlos Park, and we are seeing those beautiful blue skies across Southwest Florida that we know and love finally back into the picture. Cooler temperatures this morning, upper 60s in spots, lower to mid, we're talking about the 60s for our areas to the north, but look at Lake Placid, 58 degrees still. The rest of us, though, 66 Bonita Springs, 65 Punta Gorda, 68 for Everglades City. But hour by hour, you'll see those temperatures beginning to warm up, topping out in the low 70s and then dropping back down into the 50s for those overnight hours. Future track just showing that mix of sun and clouds. In fact, some spots that are seeing clouds right now, we'll see those clouds begin to work away and see more blue skies into the afternoon hours. That will continue into the overnight hours, seeing partly cloudy skies then. Our rain chances over the next 7 days, a little bit of fluctuation here, so you have to ride the rain roller coaster for a few days. But I do want to point out, though Saturday has the highest chance for rain in the next 7 days, most of the models have that coming in the overnight hours. So we'll keep an eye on that, but not likely to impact your weekend plans.
A puppy in an Arizona shelter got a little hungry and he took it upon himself to get some food. Let's take a look at this video. You can watch as the puppy escapes the kennel, runs into the office, he's opening the door there, and knocks over the food, making a huge mess. Now, not only did the dog get out, but he also set off the alarm. Watch as an officer responds to the scene. He is greeted by the dog. Now, not only did the officer put an end to the party, returning the dog back into the crate, he also cleaned up the entire mess.
I saw the officer clean this up so good, and I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. That was so nice and wasn't needed. I mean, it wasn't required, I should say.
This morning, we still don't have a word if the dog has made the ultimate escape to his forever home, but I would be a little shocked if maybe that officer didn't adopt him. I think they had a connection.
They did. He was really excited to see him as soon as he came in there. I mean, I don't think that police officer expected this to be part of his job description, but He did a great job doing that cleanup.
He's like, I'm police officer, not dog catcher.
Right, exactly. But he stepped into the role that day. Yeah. Well, besides athleticism, one key trait some coaches look for in athletes is loyalty.
And ever since that transfer portal opened and changed the rules back in 2022, a good amount of college athletes have decided to make the switch and go to other schools. But Florida Gulf Coast University has 2 students who think very differently.
And Wink News sports reporter Sylvie Sparks introduces us to 2 people who feel that you have to finish what you start.
Once an Eagle, always an Eagle. That's especially true for FGCU fifth-year basketball players Cyrus Largy and Dakota Rivers. They're 2 of only 122 NCAA Division I men's basketball players that have played for only one school their entire college career.
When you stay in a community like this for so long, you get to know people, you get to build special relationships, and I feel like that's so much more important than basketball, is the everlasting relationship you can build with people around the sport.
In the age of the transfer portal, staying true to one program is becoming increasingly uncommon. Their journeys to FGCU are a little different. Largy was a walk-on who earned a scholarship.
This was one of the first schools who gave me interest when I was a walk-on, and eventually I ended up getting a scholarship here, and and I want to give everything back to the school.
Rivers lost most of his scholarship offers after an injury his senior year of high school, but the Eagles never wavered.
I came back extremely healthy. I got all my scholarships back, but FGCU stayed consistent throughout the whole process. They believed in me, talked to me.
The Eagles believed in both of them, and they're making the most of their last season at FGCU, both in practice.
What I really do every day is to show up, try to be the best version I can be, and hopefully the guys see that so they could be the best version they can be.
And in games.
Win. And if we don't win, give everything we got. I don't want to say we left anything on the table.
Largy and Rivers say 5 years is worth it, and younger athletes can learn a lesson about loyalty. Sylvie Sparks, Wink Sports.
Largy, Rivers, and the rest of the Eagles hit the road to take on Queen's University of Charlotte last night.
Coming up, neighbors in Cape Coral are angry this morning after Cape Coral City Council members approved a monthly stipend to themselves. Next, we have the details on the petition trying to change their decision.
And women pregnant during the Zika scare remember feeling panic about what it would do to their babies. Up next, how that virus could help treat patients with cancer.